My name is Jeff Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm here in the city of Rockwall, Texas. And the reason I'm here is because today is April the 25th, 2022, and Mayor Kevin Fowler has signed a Rockwall, Texas proclamation that April the 25th, 2022 would be recognized as Parental Alienation Awareness Day. And even though I've gone through this with every video so far, I'm going to read it again. The proclamation says this: whereas parental alienation deprives children of their right, their ability to love and be loved by both parents and by their whole family. And whereas parental alienation can be very emotionally and mentally damaging to a child. And whereas behavior such as speaking negatively about a parent to or in front of a child can destroy the bond between a loving parent and a child. And whereas awareness of this issue creates education and understanding to better the lives of children in our community. And whereas the month of April is Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, and parental alienation is considered to be a form of child psychological abuse. Now therefore I, Kevin Fowler, Mayor of the City of Rockwall, do hereby proclaim April the 25th, 2022 as Parental Alienation Awareness Day in the City of Rockwall, and call upon all citizens to join others in blowing, quote, bubbles of love to symbolize that, quote, as bubbles flow freely, so should the natural love that a child has for both parents and both sides of the family. To witness whereof I hereto set my hand and official seal on this 4th day of April 2022, Kevin Fowler, Mayor. Behind me right here is where the Rockwall GOP sometimes holds their meetings. Now, they don't always hold them here, but sometimes they do. I've been in here on multiple occasions. I've been in here with Colonel Alan West, been in here with Bob Hall, with Jeff Younger, other people like that, people that have spoken about various issues. But the Rockwall GOP has had a blind spot to this issue of parental alienation, and I am so glad that Mayor Kevin Fowler has signed this proclamation, because perhaps now the GOP will actually start to address this issue. And I've been told by one of the people here, a former neighbor of mine, he said, nobody cares about these issues. And he tried to make me feel like I was an idiot or something like that. Well, Don Watson, guess what? The mayor of the City of Rockwall has signed a proclamation for Parental Alienation Awareness Day. Another reason that I'm in front of this building right now and talking about the GOP is because we actually have GOP attorneys who are divorce attorneys, or who help assist the divorce industry. And these GOP people, one of them in particular has a position of leadership, or at least had a position of leadership among GOP women. She has been destroying families and creating the conditions ripe for parental alienation to occur. I've seen her coming out of the courtroom. And yet she is in charge of some of the GOP stuff. At least she was. She may be a judge right now. I don't know. But the whole family law industry, if you are a member of the family law industry, the abusive anti-family law industry, the industry that profits off of the destruction of the family, I do not believe you should be a member of the leadership team of the Rockwall GOP or any GOP. It goes directly against our platform. And when you have something like this proclamation that says parental alienation is actually child abuse, it is a form of psychological child abuse. We cannot have psychological child abusers in position of leadership in the GOP. And I would say as well, we cannot have psychological child abusers as attorneys. And yet, that's where we find a lot of these psychological child abusers. And I would also say, too, that we should not have these psychological child abusers as anti-family court judges, such as we find with Judge David Rakow, anti-family court Judge David Rakow, and anti-family court Judge Brett Hall. These people should be exposed for what they are. But at the GOP level, we actually, despite what Don Watson, Poobah Don Watson has said at one time, that nobody cares about these issues, we should care about these issues. Because when you have issues of family destruction, family breakdown, what are you doing? You're creating conditions that are ripe to create a string of Democrats coming forward. In 2021, February of last year, there were a couple of articles that came out. The number one factor determining whether a person would vote Democrat or Republican Republican was if they came from a single family or they came from a broken family. So what do you think about that, Don Watson? Are you actually a closet Democrat wanting to create a new string of Democrats coming up from our children? Right now, the Attorney General's office says that they are caring for 1.5 million children, either of divorce or of families that have never been formed. 1.5 million children. What we need to understand as the GOP is that these children are going to be voting Democrat in the future if we don't stop the family destruction industry. And I don't care if it's Judge Jack James, who was a member or who used to attend the GOP meetings, or if it's Judge Brett Hall, who also spoke at the GOP meetings, or if it's Judge David Rakow, who also spoke at the GOP meetings. These people are leading our children more than likely voting Democrat in the future. And if you are a Republican, a GOP Republican in Rockwall County, you should be very grateful and thank Kevin Fowler for signing this, Mayor Kevin Fowler for signing this, and do a little bit more than just say, oh, we signed a proclamation. We need to explore this issue, because parental alienation is the result of bad law in the state of Texas. It's the result of abuse of courts. It's the result of abuse of judges. It is the result of divorce on demand. It is the result of police officers come and kick somebody out of a children's life based on no evidence whatsoever, because they are simply following the Duluth model, which in all essence says men are always victimizers, women are always victims. We need to actually address these issues. Kevin Fowler, I'm glad that you signed this proclamation, but again, from my perspective, this is a good first step. I do hope that there will be follow-up to this. I'd be very glad to help bring some people in here. I do not claim to be an expert in this. I learned about this the hard way, and I've been with some very good people, but I would by no means claim to be an expert, but I know people who are and who would love to address and educate the GOP, would love to address and educate the city council, would love to address and educate the anti-family law attorneys who profit off of this abuse, and who would love to address and educate our anti-family law judges, such as Brett Hall and David Rakow, who have abused, who have caused destruction within families, who have been guilty, from my perspective, of psychological child abuse, and then they claim immunity. Well, we had to do it. We had to act in the best interest of the child. They don't even know what the best interest of the child means, and yet they're claiming to act in it. These judges, I'm sorry, for all intents and purposes, are lying. Whatever their motivations are, they're not telling us the truth. So, Mayor Kevin Fowler, I'd love to see you, and perhaps even the city council, go down to the family courts, see what takes place. I would say at a minimum of once every quarter, every representative, every senator, every mayor, every city council person ought to be sitting in on the courts. I would say at a minimum of once a quarter, these judges should cancel all hearings and open up their courts so that people who have been abused by what took place in their courts could actually bring forth their grievance. And I think these grievances should be televised. And city council, if you're not going to do that, what I would say is perhaps maybe once a quarter, open up the city council and say tonight is parental alienation and family court abuse awareness night, and allow people to come and speak freely of what's happening in the state of Texas. I believe that some of you have no clue what's going on, how bad this is. I've been a single voice. There are many other voices that are much stronger and much better. I hope that you will do these. Once again, Kevin Fowler, I want to thank you, and I hope that this is just a good start and that there will be follow-up to this in the future. Thank you so much.